What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode number 88. Love that, 88. Just like a NASCAR driver that we all know.
Dale Jr.?
That's correct.
Did you know that, or were you just talking?
No, I know. I mean, come on. It's Dale. I know that. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, by your other co-host. And this evening, he has called himself Dick Cheese, also known as Travis. Travis, what's going on tonight?
Nothing. I'm just sharing some names I found at work.
Oh yeah,
It's my first podcast from my new couch.
Very nice. That's why you were adjusting your boom, huh?
Yeah, I was making a lot of boom noises too,
You were.
as opposed to boomer noises.
You were. Although we're well on our way to making those as well.
You already make those when we game at night.
I do. I do. It hurts to move. I mean, it takes a lot out of me to slightly readjust, or like that meme, where I'm sitting back, but then something serious happens and I have to slightly lean forward and rest my forearms on my knees to step up my gameplay. That takes a little effort, and I have to make a noise for that too.
It's a lot of effort to just exist anymore.
It really, it truly is. Well, I'm doing okay. I've had a busy week. It's been a little bit of a tough week. Been doing a lot of manual labor at the work.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty ironic that the same week that I got a raise, that they work my dick in the dirt, literally and figuratively. But it's
Oh,
okay.
literally. How did it feel? Did you come?
I did not. Although the limestone from the rock we were putting down would say otherwise. Anyway.
Oh, you come dry?
Yeah. just a little puff of air. So yeah, but I'm very sunburnt. I'm very lobster-like from being outside, and very sore. I'm sore in places that I did not know you could be sore. So yeah, I'm well on my way to becoming a boomer. I'm like sore around my rib cage.
Mm-hmm.
So all those like muscles that are on my ribs, very sore right now. Very sore from wielding a shovel. Like I was playing Chivalry 2, for instance. But it's okay. I got my cup of coffee here to perk me up.
Why do you drink coffee?
Huh?
Why are you drinking coffee? You're not drinking coffee.
I drink coffee now. Look at the Twitter. I tweeted it out.
You do not
I'm
drink
drinking
coffee now. You're so full of shit.
It's on the fucking Twitter. Go look right now.
Oh my God, there's
real.
lots of stuff on Twitter that isn't real.
Oh, great. So our Twitter feed's fake news now, guys. I love it.
It is.
I started.
Russian bots are now in our Twitter feed.
I started drinking coffee on Christmas Day last year, December 25th, 2021.
And this wasn't something you thought you should tell me?
The year of our Lord. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Man. I can only drink coffee a very specific manner before we move on here.
With your pinky up and your pants down?
No, I have to. It has to be a medium roast breakfast blend. Okay,
starters.
It has to be a medium roast breakfast blend. First of all, for starters. Okay. Also, the only other way I can drink coffee is I have to have my international brand Hershey's chocolate caramel creamer. Okay.
I hate all of this.
Let me back up. I have been to places since then where complimentary coffee is offered. Like at the car lot, you're waiting for your car to get serviced and they have coffee. And I've gone with a French vanilla sugar mix in the coffee, and that is also very tasty. So I won't say that I won't branch out, but I'm the days will never come where I am a straight black coffee kind of guy, or just black with sugar. No, I'm sorry. I need a little creaminess to my coffee. You know what I mean?
That's
a little
fair.
creaminess.
Yeah, I go sugar straight black if I want to be perky. If I'm in more of a flavor mood, we'll add some cream or something in there.
You think drinking coffee straight black with sugar like that, you'd have a little bit more hair on your nipples, but no.
Mm-hmm. I'm Native American. Don't insult me.
Anyway, Travis, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and we discuss all things PlayStation, like news, rumors, new games, and much more. We do it all in under 90 minutes, sprinkled with a touch of nonsense, as you just heard. And we post new episodes on Mondays on all the usual podcast services, like the one you're most likely listening to right now. We also post episodes on YouTube, as well as game streams and clips. Mostly just not streaming lately. It's just more like gameplay videos is what I've been posting. So that's there if you're interested. You can also find us on social media, of course, if you want to reach out and talk with us about PlayStation, or tell us that you like the show or you hate it, whatever. That's cool too. We're on Twitter, of course, at the DualSense Pod, as well as Instagram, where I have been sharing some Horizon Forbidden West virtual photography. You can find us there at the DualSense Podcast, as well as Facebook. And lastly, we have a blog. It is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. So you can pick your places that you'd like to keep in touch with us, and be sure that you do so. And without further ado, Travis, let's jump into the news here. We have some interesting things to talk about. Number one, Sony rather quietly pulled the newly launched Gran Turismo 7 from sale on the Russian PlayStation Store after a decision was made at the corporate level late Thursday night, just prior to launch, to not make the game available in the country. Gran Turismo's Russian store page now states, quote, "Release date pending confirmation," end quote. The move coincides with Sony Pictures announcing it would hold off cinema releases in the embattled country, including the upcoming Spider-Man spin-off Morbius with, what's-his-face, Jared Leto. And it also follows direct pressure from the Ukrainian government on both PlayStation and Xbox to end support for Russian markets. If for some reason you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, Russia launched an unprovoked invasion of Ukraine in the last week, which led to them being shunned, sanctioned, and isolated by virtually every major country in the world. The move by Sony follows in the footsteps of various other game companies like Microsoft and Electronic Arts, who have suspended all sales in both Russia and Belarus. And in totally unrelated Gran Turismo 7 news, Travis, we learned that the game's microtransactions have taken a turn for the worst, it would seem, when compared to Gran Turismo Sport. Whereas purchasing a Porsche 919 Hybrid 16, whatever that is, you fucking car nerd, would cost players $299 US in Gran Turismo Sport, it will now cost 3 million in-game credits in Gran Turismo 7, which would require players to buy at least $40 worth of credits from the PlayStation Store. Although I do want to add that, and you can probably speak to this, I know you haven't played the game yet, but just generally, I do want to add that it sounds like these in-game credits are earned pretty liberally in the game. So I don't know if this is as egregious as it is being reported. But anyway, let's back up and let's start with the no Russian news, and then talk about some microtransactions. What do you think?
Russian news is interesting. I mean, that's pretty much on par with what you'd expect. I saw a post earlier today on Reddit, which I don't know if you're familiar with Reddit. Since you drink coffee, now you boomer. It was a list of all these companies that have pulled out of Russia since March the 2nd, or as of March the 2nd. So, of course, Sony was on there. Of course, I only remember OnlyFans and Pornhub. There was definitely some major companies you've heard of.
Your two favorites.
My two favorites. I like free porn and porn you pay for. There's all kinds of companies that are pulling out left and right. Yeah, exactly. So not surprising there. I'm sure that there'll be even more that pull out. Like IKEA shut down all their stores in Russia the other day.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, it's like, it's pretty, I would consider it in line with like normal sanctions that you see. Of course, it's funny that the Ukrainian government was like, hey, PlayStation and Microsoft pull out of Russia, which I know they didn't say it like that, and it was more in general, but it's just funny to me that, like, when you're one of the biggest companies in the world, it's going to read like that. But obviously, there's more to PlayStation, more to Sony than PlayStation, and more to Microsoft than Xbox. So
sure,
it sounds less funny when you say it like that. But just to read it out loud, it makes it sound like they're like, "Don't send them PS5s." It's like, why?
Right.
But anyway, no, this is all. I'm for this. I think that, in my opinion, if supporting a country like Russia right now doesn't, one, it's a bad PR look, but two, it's completely unwarranted. So yeah, I'm for this. I back it completely, 100%. I have no issues with it. Same for Belarus, you fucks.
Yeah.
Microtransactions. So on GT Sport, it was notoriously difficult to get in-game credits, and by difficult I mean like you kind of had to grind for some of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I hated that. I didn't even try, and like I never really bought stuff either. Like almost all the cars I got were from a daily reward because you drive X amount of miles, it gives you a car. So that's pretty much how I built up my library. I occasionally would buy cars for the daily races if I thought it was really cool or if I liked the car. So, for example, on the manufacturer series, I signed a contract 1 year with like Plago, and I really enjoyed racing with that car. I won a couple of races, so I bought it. So that way I had it to do the daily stuff with. That's about the only time I bought stuff. The hybrid cars are actually fun to drive. They have a high amount of downforce, and they are super expensive in real life, as you'd imagine. So
Right.
to have them cost an asinine amount of in-game credits is pretty realistic because they cost an asinine amount of dollars. So I don't have any issue with that. But again,
Hmm.
microtransactions, as we said before, not a big fan of them, but
Hmm.
I understand why they're there. I get it.
But you're saying you're not going to buy them anyway, so
No, I don't
it
care.
means fuck all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I can unlock them in that way. I can unlock cars in other ways on the game. They've added a used car market, which is what the old
Oh
games
yeah.
had. So you
Uh-huh.
can get a car at a discounted price that way. If it's something I really, really want, you know, saving up for it is part of the fun. Like that's how I always did it on Gran Turismo 2, for example. So yeah, I mean that's not going to change for me. Not having one car isn't going to break the game for me. You know,
That's
like
fair.
I really want the
Hmm.
Dodge Charger with the big fucking wing on the back, but I'm not going to buy it with real money.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's stupid and annoying, I get that, but, like, this makes more sense to me than buying a skin on Fortnite, to be honest, because the
Yeah.
cars drive different, they handle different, they look different, they sound different, all of that stuff. They bring different things to the table when you're racing on and offline, so that I get. Like, a skin is just, like, cosmetics, I don't get it.
That's a good point. That's a very valid point, actually. I'll start here and I'll work my way backwards since we're talking about it. So for me, who is someone who does not play Gran Turismo, obviously, this seems pretty egregious to me. But at the same time, unless you're someone, I guess, who like this is the only game you're going to play this year, which you're pretty close. I mean, but if unless this is you're somebody who just literally wants to have every car in the game, I think I can kind of see where maybe this isn't a terribly big deal because I mean, are you really going to spend $40 to buy a car anyway in the game after you spent $70 to buy the game itself? I
If for
don't know.
one
So
car, I mean, come on.
yeah. So but I guess at surface level, if just to take it for what it's worth, I think this is over the top. Like I think the pricing is fucking outrageous. But then again, like I said, I don't play it, so I don't understand the in-game currency or whatever. Maybe that I guess if you maybe there's just a little incentive. I guess you don't necessarily have to buy like no one should have to spend $40 to buy a car off the bat, like because they should have some form of in-game currency so that in theory they should be able to buy much less than that. Maybe just they need enough credits to get them over the top. I've done that in games before. Like
Right.
I've earned enough credits in Rainbow Six Siege, but I needed like 200 more, so I spent $5 on the 500 whatever credit pack to buy some fucking character I wanted on Rainbow Six Siege.
Mhm.
Like I've done that. I've not spent $40, but I've done that. Anyway, I don't know. So you after you get to play it, maybe you'll feel differently about it. You can report back, but maybe you'll feel like it's asinine how you accumulate credits in the game. I don't know. But onto the Russia stuff, I think just generally, I mean, not to get political, but really this is in my opinion this is really black and white. Like there's no reason to be on Russia's side in any of this. It seems like it's one of the most clear cut kind of moments of clarity in the history of the world in terms of from a wartime standpoint. And literally everyone, I mean not literally but almost everyone besides like China and North Korea
China.
are against Russia in this. So yeah, are against Russia in this conflict,
Oh, Myanmar.
if you will. Oh, Myanmar is they're for Russia,
Yeah,
huh?
it's like if you went outside and then an ant was like, "Hey, have a good day." About that level of impact.
Sure. So I get it. I mean, Sony doesn't. I don't think this really does anything. All you're doing is keeping the normal Russian people from being able to play Gran Turismo 7. So I think. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's just symbolic, right? I mean, most of this stuff is symbolic, and of course, some of it. I was reading about some of the Microsoft stuff. Some of the Microsoft things that they're having to do are related to the sanctions that have been put into place, for instance. So they legally, I guess, have to. But a lot of this other stuff that platform holders, publishers, developers are doing are just symbolic and signs of solidarity more than anything. But it's always good to be on the right side of history, if you will. So I think it's the right thing for Sony to do for the time being. And also, I want to point out that on the week that Gran Turismo released, I made Gran Turismo the very first news story on this podcast for you. So you're welcome.
Thanks. It's a big day for us.
Number two, Nominees for the 2022 BAFTA Games Awards were announced this week. PlayStation studio Housemarque and their PS5 roguelike Returnal leads the nominations with 8 across all categories. Insomniac Games' Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a close second, however, with 7 nominations. And here's the full list of PlayStation relevant nominees. Deathloop was nominated for EE Game of the Year, whatever the fuck that means. I think it just means Game of the Year. Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank, and Returnal were all nominated for Best Game. I'm so confused by that. Maquette, if you'll remember that puzzling game that was a PlayStation Plus title back when, was nominated for Best Debut Game. Ratchet and Clank and Returnal were both nominated for Technical Achievement. Deathloop and Returnal were nominated for Original Property. Returnal was nominated for Best Narrative. Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank, and Returnal were nominated for Best Music. Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank, and Returnal were nominated for Best Game Design. Ratchet and Clank nominated for Best Family Game. Deathloop, or Dathloop as I have there, and Returnal were nominated for Best Audio Achievement.
That's the Gaelic version.
It is. Ratchet and Clank. I'm sorry. I didn't say that. Ratchet and Clank and Returnal were nominated as well for Artistic Achievement. And Kena Bridge of Spirits was nominated for Best Animation. And finally, but not necessarily PlayStation related, but however interesting to us, is that Hell Let Loose, Travis, was nominated for Multiplayer Game of the Year.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what do you think of what do you think of any of these?
So just to clarify, Kena Bridge of Spirits for animation, is that because the other games had motion tracking?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
like motion capture?
Yeah.
It could be. I think it's
because all these are really animated.
Yeah, but I think they I think they mean more so like I haven't played Kena, but I think it's because it looks like a Pixar movie. Like Ratchet and Clank looks just like a cartoon kind of in a way, but Kena looks like a Pixar movie. So I think that really struck people.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, none of this stuff's surprising. I mean, the games are really good. They grade it out really well. Everybody who plays them enjoys them. Except for the super supreme difficulty of Returnal that seemed to be on Dark Souls level for some reason. I still maintain that I feel like Deathloop would be a really cool movie, and that Returnal, the narrative part of Returnal, could be a very interesting book. Like, I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Or even a sci-fi movie. I guess it could fall into that really in a sense. But
oh yeah.
Well, they did do that, didn't they, with Tom Cruise? Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, none of this is surprising. It falls right in line with what you'd expect from these games. I'm trying to think. The animation thing has really got me hung up. Original property is interesting because, like like God of War Ragnarok will probably be on this list, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so.
You could make it, or The Last of Us could be on this list, right? But these are technically those are original properties. But when I read original property, what I think of is like a new IP.
Yeah, I think that's what they mean. I think it's that it's a new, like you said, a new property.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to keep landing your new IPs on this list. So to land 2 on there, I think that's awesome for PlayStation. It's awesome for Housemarque. They should be popping champagne and spraying stuff around the studio. Hopefully not like, on the hard drives ruining the new game they're making, but definitely should be celebrating.
Does it make you? Do you find it odd that Returnal is the most nominated game? I mean, I find that odd because I don't know. I mean, it's a good game. Listen, I love Housemarque. It's a good game. I didn't finish it. It's too hard for me. I'm too much of a boomer, like as we've discovered. Next Machina from Housemarque is one of my favorite games of all time, but I don't know. I mean, and the other thing is I don't think it's. I mean, it sold well, but not compared to some of these other games. So.
Yeah. It reminds me of like when you watch the Oscars and they're like, this black and white movie was really good.
Oh,
it's like, okay.
That's a good comparison.
It's
it's like when Lighthouse is nominated for all the shit, the one with Willem Dafoe and what's his face, Batman, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, don't they like fuck a dolphin or something?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
They fuck each other or something. I don't know.
Or a mermaid or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I'm happy for Returnal and Housemarque guys. We're going to talk about them again here in just a minute. One day I'll go back to that game and I'll maybe commit to it because I can do it. Okay, I can do it. I know I can.
Okay, sure.
I can do it, but do I want to do it? I don't know. But happy for those guys. Weird that Maquette is on there. Ratchet and Clank. There's a lot going for it, but I'm in the camp that I think Ratchet and Clank's a tad bit overrated, as I've said on the show. So anyway, haven't played Kena, but I do. Like I said, I know the animation is really what struck people. That it was very movie-like. And then can't tell you how much it pleases me that Hell Let Loose was nominated for Multiplayer Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Chivalry was not, but
Right.
so that's a little odd. I feel like that it's very deserving, but
Hey, yeah. At least one got recognized, right?
yeah, at least one of
And it
our
wasn't just
babies,
Call of Duty, like
right?
fucking Fall Guys. I get it.
Yeah, at least one of our baby boys made it in there. All right, number 3. Speaking of Housemarque, Travis, as I said, the now 8-time BAFTA nominated studio revealed in an interview with VentureBeat that their new title would be a brand new IP. Studio CEO and co-founder Ilari Kutunen, very Finnish name. Sounds like a guy I'd have on FIFA. Said
Yes.
that said that the project is still in the concept phase and told the outlet, quote, "We're one of the very last dinosaurs making arcade games. Nex Machina, shout out, a few years ago was very much a shoot 'em up game in the style of the coin ops from the 80s. That's sort of a clue," end quote. Oh boy. After being asked if the game would be a live service title, Kutunen said, quote, "We've been thinking about that. We had our stint working on multiplayer games because a few years back it seemed like you needed to have some kind of multiplayer experience. We tried that and we really didn't do it as well," end quote. So what do you think about a new IP from these lads? And it's not going to be multiplayer live service, it sounds like, and
Right.
so I'm going to have something in the vein of Nex Machina. It's talking a big game for me right now, but we'll see.
Well, I enjoy the phrase coin ops. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I think he means arcade, right?
Yeah, like coin ops, like Broforce could be considered kind of like that. I mean, that's an awesome
Right.
game. No, this would be kind of like going back to the roots, basically. So you would kind of, which is interesting. You almost kind of would expect after rolling out a game that's as well received and nominated as
Mm-hmm.
Returnal that they would come out with some sort of other AAA kind of level IP that's
Mm-hmm.
more 3D than twin sticky, for per se.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting for them to basically admit that, like, hey, we suck at multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Especially, I mean, like you said, there seemed to be a point in time where you needed that, and to an extent, you still do,
Yeah.
because most games seem to push you in that way. Like, you have to be connected to
Mm-hmm.
online play to even play all the features of most games anymore. So for them to come out and say, "Hey, we suck at this," is kind of funny. It's also
Right.
like, but it also is a good thing because they've made some really kick-ass single player games, and we've talked a lot about how we like these single player experiences, and we don't want to lose single player experiences. So it's kind of nice, it's kind of refreshing to hear them, a studio be like, "Hey, our forte is kind of the single player mode, whether it's coin ops or not.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're going to hit. This is what we're going to shoot into." So that's good. I like this. But I think again, yeah, I think it'll be more like you said here. It's definitely going to be more in line with kind of like what their bread and butter is with Next Machina.
Yeah. I had a thought while you were talking that, yeah, because I don't think that their next game is going to be as difficult as Returnal.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like it's going to be something that's more accessible. And I was just thinking, what if he mentioned Nex Machina specifically, obviously, and then he said that's a clue. So it's a clue. What if they made a game like an isometric or top down action RPG? Like imagine something like, Dead Nation or a Diablo, like a looter action RPG that somehow revolves around score chasing, something like that.
Hmm.
Like I think a Diablo style game in the Sony lineup would actually do kind of well. We are getting a Diablo 4. I don't know if that would overlap at all, but something in the vein of like a Dead Nation, Nex Machina style game, like that sounds interesting
Hmm.
to me. Now, of course, that's I am a fan of those games of theirs, so I'm a little biased, but multiplayer, they need to stay away from that. I think that Sony already has their multiplayer projects lined out and their multiplayer studios set up. I don't think Housemarque is one of those. I think it's some of these second party studios that they've partnered with, and then also ones like, not Insomniac, but Naughty Dog with the Last of Us game, studios like that, for instance. So very excited to see what they could do next, but we're probably 4 or 5 years away from it. So we can forget about it and then try to remember it again in a couple of years whenever they randomly say something about it. Number 4, industry leaker account NGT on Twitter claimed that new InFAMOUS and Sly Cooper games are in development at PlayStation Studios. The Sly Cooper game was previously confirmed as in development by insider Nick Baker of the Xbox Era podcast. Account NGT is relatively new to the leaker insiders scene, but they were correct on Quantic Dream's Star Wars project and details about the upcoming Bioshock game, for what it's worth. The leaker also claimed that upcoming PS5 timed exclusive Forspoken will be delayed, and that Hogwarts Legacy will appear at the heavily rumored March PlayStation Showcase. Have any thoughts on any of this?
Well, I mean, well, hell, if it's supposed to appear, if it's going to appear at the heavily rumored March PlayStation Showcase, it's not really rumored, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's interesting. I never
Mhm.
really got into Infamous or Sly Cooper. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of Infamous stuff. It looks interesting, but it's just never been a game I played. I genuinely don't like Sly Cooper because it was the last thing I found, the last headband I found on Ghost of Tsushima. It took
Yeah.
me for fucking ever, and I had to look it up, which really pissed me off. So I'll hold that against them forever.
So you're not going to play it out of
Out of
spite.
spite, yeah, that's their fault. Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, no, I mean, again, like this says, a new leaker to the leaker scene. So let's see how real this is. Let's just start with the PlayStation Showcase being a real thing.
Yeah, let's get that out there first, guys. I mean, we know that's going to be happening. There's just too much smoke at this point, but and kind of like you, I really never got into Infamous or Sly Cooper. Never, I don't even think I've ever played a Sly Cooper game except on Vita, just for a little bit. And it was fine. I might go back to it one day. But Infamous, I remember playing or trying to play the first one on PS3. Like I said, I bounced off of it. In theory, it's a game that I should like. The one that came out on PS4, which is Second Son, I played some of it, but I never finished it. It was cool. The combat kind of annoyed me. It seemed it was tough for me at the time. Like I died constantly. I don't know if I just wasn't good at it or didn't know what I was doing. But the other thing I remember from playing Infamous is that game, I don't know if the frame rate was wonky when it came out or something, but the frame rate, man, it fucking made me sick. Like, gave me a bad headache. And you're constantly on the move on that game, jumping from buildings and flying around and shit. So,
Just like Spider-Man.
yeah. So I remember not having a very good experience playing it in general because of the performance. But, I don't know. I mean, I think my problem with Second Son, it was a little bit too like Watch Dogsy for me. Like the guy
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of like the guy, or like Watch Dogs 2. It was a little bit too like over the top, like broy, or like, that's not even the word. Like I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like
Douchey?
douchey. Like it was a little too douchey for me. That and Watch Dogs 2. Although I finished Watch Dogs 2, but I don't know. Anyway, and then it was a very stark contrast from Cole, I think was the guy's name from the original ones. He was a very like gruff guy, I remember. But I don't know. I mean, I might give both a try. It depends on what they actually are, what they look like. Is in terms of the Hogwarts Legacy of Forspoken thing, like Forspoken or whatever, is kind of a fart noise for me. Square Enix is not doing well right now, so don't have high hopes for that.
Shame.
Yeah, and then Hogwarts Legacy, we've heard that multiple times now that it's supposed to be at the next PlayStation Showcase. So
Mhm.
that's exciting. I'm not a I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but we'll see what that looks
And
like.
I didn't see it at the Gran Turismo 7 showcase, which is interesting because it got its own showcase. So cool game, Square Enix.
Number 5, Rockstar has finally shared just what exactly the PlayStation 5 version of Grand Theft Auto 5 can do. That's a lot of fives. The next gen, that's a lot of damage. The next gen version will feature 3 graphical modes: a native 4K 30 frames per second ray traced fidelity mode, a 60 frames per second upscaled 4K performance mode, and a performance ray tracing mode that supports upscaled 4K with ray tracing and a targeted 60 frames per second, so not a locked frame rate. In addition to the graphical modes, the new version will also include faster loading times, increased population and traffic variety, increased vegetation density, improved lighting quality on shadows, water reflections, and other elements, plus improved anti aliasing, motion blur, highly detailed explosions, fire, and more. The PS5 version will include support for haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and Tempest 3D audio, of course. And don't forget that a standalone version of GTA Online is also releasing alongside the main game, with PlayStation Plus subscribers able to claim GTA Online for 3 months and keep it as long as they are subscribed. And finally, players can upload their PS4 story mode save data from within the game for download and use in the PS5 version. On the online front, if you have a Rockstar Games social club account, then you're all set to import your character in the new version when it launches on March 15th. The next gen version of GTA 5 will be available for pre-order and pre-download starting on March the 8th. So no free upgrade, of course, from Rockstar. What do you think about the upgrade here?
All these graphical modes are interesting, and they say a lot of magically fun buzzwords. But I think the
Uh-huh.
question is, does it really work? So,
Mm.
like on Gran Turismo, on the new one, there is a ray tracing mode that lets you pick when you start the game up, and there's a lot of people who are having frame skip in the ray trace mode, and they've went with the other mode because one, they literally say, I can't really tell the difference. I've read that multiple places,
Mm-hmm.
and why I don't want to deal with the frame skip. So, again, if you're going to put out all these modes, make sure they work. And again, maybe that's something that Polyphony can fix with an update or a few tweaks. And I think its launch state of Gran Turismo clearly is a lot better than others. So I'm not really too worried about that. But my point
Sure.
is, make sure they work Rockstar, which you think they would be good enough doing. But I think that at least on paper, the things they've done are things you need out of a PS5 upgrade, right? Like you need the 3D
Mm-hmm.
audio, you need to have these quicker loading times. The density of the population of the open world is something that should be a bigger thing. Like there's enough power in the new system where you can make it a more realistic
Mm.
density or create a density that you really want within the world. And also,
Yeah.
they've created the haptic feedbacks for the PS5 controller for the DualSense. So those are things that you have to have for a real PS5 upgrade to me. If you're releasing a PS5 upgrade and it doesn't utilize the controller, it doesn't utilize the 3D audio, is it really an
Yeah.
upgrade? If it's not
I
utilizing the
agree.
power of the system, it's not really an upgrade to me. Like the lighting changes, that's a big thing. Like a lighting change seems like a little bitty thing, but when done right in the right graphic mode, it's a huge fucking difference. Like huge.
That's well said.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm into this. I'm into all those things. You'd be
Okay.
crazy not to take the online version that's free. Why would you not do that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm sure we'll end up messing around on this in a few weeks.
Definitely getting the online version, no question. I've actually been excited for that. Been waiting for it. If you remember, you and I have a biker
We do.
gang
What is it
business.
called?
We have a weed growing operation. What did we call it? I don't remember what we called
I'm excited to see what my character's wearing because you sent me what your character was wearing the other day. It was fucking hilarious.
it. Yeah, I had not logged on since 2018. That's the last time we played, and I downloaded it because I've been claiming all these $1 million like PlayStation Plus GTA buck things or whatever that come out every month. I was like, shit, I gotta download the PS4 version and whatever, let all this take effect on my account before this thing comes out. So I did that and I was like, all right, I'm gonna mess around for a minute. So load into my apartment and immediately see my guy wearing the smell like a bitch t-shirt. And I died. Oh, I died. I had to send it to you guys.
Hilarious.
And I think I gave my dude a black eye, so he looks like he just been fucking just ran through. It's hilarious.
What a
But
game.
yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and then we have, like you said, or like we said, we have our marijuana growing operation, and yeah, I'm excited. So, in terms of like the story mode version of it, all of this sounds fantastic, and of course, this is all. I'm assuming this is all coming to the online version as well, or at least most of it. I would think so. I'm very interested, and like you said, I think it sounds like on paper a very good upgrade to next gen. All these kind of bells and whistles, buzzwords, as you said earlier, and I do I do think it's a little egregious maybe to charge full price for this, but it's going to happen. It's Rockstar. They're going to charge 60 or $70 for this, whatever they're going to end up charging for it. They would have said otherwise already if not. But, I hear people who have said today that on Twitter that, hey, this really should just be a free upgrade from the PS4 version. Like I hear that argument, but at the same time, like they've also put in a substantial amount of work on the game. Now, I say that, and on the other hand, there's no reason to feel bad for Rockstar. Like they're doing fine, right? Like they've sold 150 million copies of this game. Like they're
They have
fine.
more money than
Okay.
Russia. Hey,
Yeah.
listen,
You're right.
all these people complaining, just like, listen, they sound like a bunch of poor assholes, which is funny because all my friends are poor assholes. So I get it.
Yeah, me too. I am including me, but I get both sides of it. But I say all that to say that I'm probably going to end up buying it. So I'm part of the fucking problem. Okay, I'm a moron, but because it sounds pretty awesome. But I am a little trepidatious. You would think I would have already learned my lesson because I did get the GTA, the definitive trilogy,
Fucking
and it
L.
was kind of
I know.
ass.
We both
Yeah,
get
it was
fucking
kind of
L
it was.
there.
Yeah, you got it
It's
too.
just
Yeah, that's
fucking
right.
loss.
It was. Yeah, it was kind of ass, and they're still updating it,
Mhm.
but I'm sure eventually it'll be fine to go back and play. But yeah, I'm probably still going to be a moron and buy this anyway because I have been keeping my eye on it, and I don't know if I'll pre-order
Mhm.
it. I kind of because there's not going to be any benefit to pre-ordering. Like you're not going to get any shit for
Right.
pre-ordering. So what I may do is play the free online version, see how it does, see how it plays, see how the story mode version is received, and then maybe buy it
Mhm.
after the fact is maybe what
Mm.
I'm kind of leaning
I've
towards.
already
But I
I
am
beat the
excited.
story twice, so I just don't have a need to play it again.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I don't know. That is a good point. But I've even though I've played it a couple different times, I've already forgotten a lot of what goes on, like other than like some big
Mhm.
set pieces and stuff. But
Right.
anyway, we'll see. Number 6, March's fresh lineup of PlayStation Now titles are here and include the previously announced day one release Shadow Warrior 3, as well as FPS Crisis Remastered, first-person puzzle game Relicta, and narrative-driven noir adventure game Chicken Police Painted Red. Shadow Warrior 3 will be available until July the 4th, while the rest appear to be permanent editions, although it is worth noting that Sony has been silently and stealthily changing the removal dates for some games on PlayStation Now, and there have been games going off the service unannounced. So very
Mm.
sneaky bastards indeed. Another big red flag from Sony. But anyway, what do you think about the lineup?
They're just taking them off because they need to put them in the right tier for this new
Hmm,
Spartacus thing.
interesting.
Let's see here. Look, Crisis Remaster. Here's the thing. I'm tired of Crisis existing in the world I live in. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. I don't give a fuck about it. I feel like it's been in my worldview since I was 8 years old, and every time I see it, I get annoyed.
Hmm.
So just fuck off. All right.
Uh-huh.
Relicta is that stuff that you get in like packaging you can't eat, but it's like those gel things.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's what that
Yeah.
is.
Silica?
Silica, yes. I really I think Shadow Warrior 3 will be decent. I think it will review probably in the 70s maybe. That's pretty good for a PlayStation Now title. I would be okay
Yeah.
with that. Not that I want to play it, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be fine. I have no idea what Chicken Police is, but I'm fucking in.
I know it's very intriguing. I looked it up a little bit, just saw some screenshots, but I'm gonna have to watch some gameplay. It sounds so outrageous that I'm kind of intrigued. It seems like I think it really sounds up your alley. I think it is a detective story. So
And I'm a chicken. This sounds right.
yeah,
This
I think
sounds like
this
I've seen this.
yeah this definitely looks like your type of game. It's like LA noir with like a Valiant Hearts art style, and it's just outrageous. I mean, you're a fucking chicken, so you're not fucking a chicken, but you are a fucking chicken. But
Oh, I'm not fucking a chicken.
yeah. Anyway, it's
Jesus.
it's a good little lineup. And then as we talked about last week, we got our first new release on PlayStation Now. Well, I guess technically Grand Theft Auto Vice City Remastered or whatever released on the service in December or
Nailed it.
whatever. But let's just count it as a brand new title. Okay, this is the first brand new title releasing, so get a little month. We'll see what happens when things go to Spartacus after the end of this month. Number 7, we also have a bunch of news nuggets as well, Travis, and feel free to jump in here with me. First nugget, website gamesindustry.biz reported that the recently released Soulsborne RPG Elden Ring is the biggest game launch in the UK since Call of Duty Vanguard, according to sales data, and it is the biggest non-Call of Duty and FIFA launch since Red Dead Redemption 2 in October of 2018. Pretty
That's
incredible.
awesome.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys at work who are playing Elden Ring.
Jesus Christ.
They love it. They all love it. They've all told me it's very difficult, and they're like the
Uh-huh.
people that tell you it's not as hard as Dark Souls. It's like they're like, yeah, by like 1%. They're like, it's still really difficult,
Yeah, it's like, is that really a difference?
right? And then one of the guys, Seth, he is apparently he's on like the 8th boss, and there's like 25 bosses,
God.
and they're all like, how the fuck are you on the 8th boss? And he told me yesterday that he played Dark Souls plus 9. So
Dark
do you know
Souls
what that
Plus?
means?
No, I don't know what that means.
That means he went through the game 9 times, and it gets harder each time.
Oh my God. Whatever. Play
Right.
something else.
Yeah.
Go touch grass.
So
Touch grace,
so
as it says.
So he so he's already like he knows how to play these types of games. So that's part of it. But anyway, they all love it. They say it's great. What's his name? I forget. Oh my god, I forgot his name. I could see his face. Anyway, he locked himself. He has said he had 25% health, and he had like all of his. I'm gonna get the terms wrong. He had like all of his ruples or something like that, and he went to. He opened the door in a cave. He's like, I just opened the door in a cave arbitrarily, and he couldn't get out. And when he went in, there was a boss.
Oh, perfect.
He was like, so
Fuck.
he said it took him like 3 hours to figure out how to beat the boss because every time he respawned, he had to go run over and pick up his ruples so he could buy like potions. It was hilarious. I love it.
That sounds brutal. I would turn this shit off. Like delete.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Also, I love how in your Elden Ring story that the Elden Ring world uses the Russian currency as its currency. That's wonderful.
I don't know what they're using.
We can't even
rupees.
Yeah, Vlad's invading Ukraine. He's invading Elden Ring, guys. The lands between, or whatever the fuck it's called. All right. Next nugget. Industry analytics firm Ampere Analysis reports that console spending in 2021 reached $60 billion and that Sony Interactive Entertainment accounted for 46% of all money spent on console games, hardware, and services. So, Sony, very dominant force in the video game.
Is that in the year or is that all time?
That's the year. They accounted for 46% of all money spent last year. Sony. So, what would that be?
28 billion, something like that. 27 billion.
46 or yeah, you're right. 28 billion or so. That's a lot. Developer, that game company, the studio behind titles like Flow, Flow, Flower, and Journey.
I read that as Flower.
That's great. They've received a $160 million investment from investor group TPG. Sounds like I think that's a paint company, and venture capital firm Sequoia. Meanwhile, Pixar co-founder, that's a movie studio, Ed Catmull will join the studio as a principal advisor. That's a cat in thought.
Such a stupid joke.
The people are going to turn this shit off any second now. All right, next nugget. Epic Games has acquired music storefront Bandcamp. God, this is just getting better and better. As part of its larger vision of making a quote-unquote creator marketplace ecosystem.
Okay.
A group of Warner Brothers Games veterans announced the establishment of a new development studio called Fortis, or 4T, possibly. It could be 4T. Mm-hmm. The studio will focus on creating next-generation live service titles. Chinese communist mega publisher Tencent has acquired a minority stake in Canadian studio Offworld Industries, who is the studio behind FPS live service titles like Squad and Beyond the Wire. Website Video Games Chronicle reported that Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions' Twisted Metal television series starring Anthony Mackie has been picked up by NBC's Peacock streaming service.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Platinum Games' latest title, Babylon's Fall, peaked at less than 650 concurrent players on Steam on its release day, and Video Games Chronicle gave it a 1 star out of 5 rating. It's fucking awful.
That's terrible.
Square Enix. I don't know. Square Enix published that one too. They're having a bad run here. Bad run. All right. Next nugget. Battlefield 2042 developer DICE claimed on a new blog post that outlined future fixes and updates that future maps coming to the game will be smaller in scale due to fan feedback. They also stated that they will be overhauling current maps to address feedback as well, but they're going to do it one map at a time, starting with Kaleidoscope. So by the time they're done making the game, by the time they're done making the game, we'll be on to fucking Grand Theft Auto 6.
Literally said, hey, to fix the game, we're going to just remake the game.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. God. Whew. Also, insider Tom Henderson has reported that F1 2022 will include supercars and cross-platform play.
When that game needs cross-play, that'll be good for it. And when it said supercars, I thought it meant V8 supercars from Australia, and I was like, fuck yes, I'm totally into this game. And what they meant was like you could drive like a Bugatti, which is not interesting.
Those are in Gran Turismo as well, I saw.
Yeah, they don't turn, they just go straight.
Tom also reported that FIFA 23 will likewise include crossplay and expanded women's leagues, including the Women's World Cup, Travis. Also, Capcom announced that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 are all getting native next-gen versions sometime later this year. The upgrades will be free to current owners of the game. Cooperative zombie first-person shooter Back 4 Blood will get its first major DLC expansion on April 12th called Tunnels of Terror. Sony announced that they will be ending PS3 system repair support and support for all PS3 peripherals on April 30th. I think that's I can't remember if that's just in Japan or if that's everywhere. I think that it was just in Japan, but maybe not. Either way, ominous. Also, website PushSquare reported that Sony Interactive Entertainment has shipped some type of video game console prototype from the United Kingdom to Norfolk, Virginia, here in the United States. According to website Tweaktown, sounds like a fucking drug website,
Yeah.
who found the export log.
That's Jesse's house in like season 3 of Breaking Bad.
It is. Tweaktown found the export log, of all things. How do people find this shit? The cargo was shipped, according to the export log, the cargo was shipped in 4 cartons weighing 1,500 pounds back on November the 16th.
We also know how much it weighed. This is so stupid.
This is outrageous. I mean, this is real, obviously. So my theory is that this is, I think the most obvious thing is that this is PlayStation VR 2, because we also had the reports of various studios like Kojima Productions getting VR 2 headsets, dev kits in November or late November of last year, which would check out. That would add up. So
yeah, those seem a lot heavier than I expected.
Yeah, 1,500 pounds on your head. Shit, can't play that shit.
Yeah, it's like your wife sitting on my face.
Whoa. All right. Farming Simulator 22 will get its free sustainability DLC for PS4 and PS5 on April 19th.
Is that just like a convenient play on words? You know, like sustainable farming?
Yeah, correct. That's what it is.
Oh, that is what it is. Oh, okay.
It is. It is sustainable farming DLC. Yes.
I did not realize that.
Also a free update for cooperative story adventure game Haven will now allow you to play as a same-sex couple.
Can I scissor?
Of course. Yakuza series developer Ryuga Gotoku Studio has said that they are working on, quote, a lot of unannounced titles, end quote, in addition to Yakuza 8. I mean, that seems obvious, but whatever. All right. Sony has completed its takeover of the anime industry as services Crunchyroll and Funimation have now merged under one umbrella and having retained the Crunchyroll brand. For all you fucking nerds. Also, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax will receive the holy grail of rollback netcode for its PS4 re-release this summer. The Uncharted film continued its upward climb over the last weekend as it now sits at $226 million in worldwide box office sales. Pretty impressive. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Deus Ex and System Shock creator Warren Spector, that's a video game name if I've ever heard one. That's fake, isn't it? He's working on a brand new IP at his studio Other Side Entertainment. Quantic Dream's Star Wars Eclipse game will not release until 2027 or 2028, according to insider Tom Henderson, who cites a lack of developer talent as the reason for the long development cycle.
Okay, well, first of all, holy shit, way to throw the team under the bus. It's like, I'll be fucking dead, so just whatever.
The fucking PS6 will be out. Seriously. We'll have PlayStation 6.
It'll be on the PS4.
Also, more new job listings at Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch Productions further cement that a sequel is in development, as two new combat designer positions require that the person has played the original game. So that's good news. Welcome news. A PSVR YouTuber with a track record of correct leaks has claimed that Sony intends to release PSVR 2 in the first quarter of 2023. I've heard more of these rumors this week as well, so I mean, I could see that, but I still think holiday this year is a great time to release it too, but maybe not. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Predator Hunting Grounds, Dauntless, Sifu, Warzone, Horizon Forbidden West, Neverwinter, Elden Ring, Knockout City, FIFA 22, and GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. So if you've been waiting for some fixes or new content, check that out. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of All of Town has been rated for PS4, meaning a release is incoming. Action game Undying Moon has also been rated for PS4 and PS5 by the ESRB, which means a release is imminent. According to VG News Insider, I hardly know her. But I've never heard of this website either. PlayStation will resurrect an quote unquote extremely popular franchise in the fourth quarter of this year, with the game said to be around 70% complete.
But it's Spyro.
I was going to say maybe it's Infamous or Sly Cooper.
Oh
Since
God,
we've got
just fucking spare me.
since we've got those rumors. Also, website Gematsu reported that Pac-Man Museum Plus will launch on PS4 on May 27th. Narrative-driven RPG beat-em-up game Young Souls will come to PS4 on March 10th. Post-apocalyptic city builder Endzone: A World Apart Survivor Edition will come to PS5 on May 19th, and I'm fucking all over this game.
Of course you are. Yeah, I was going to ask you
Oh,
if
man.
the answer so long.
barely, buddy. Oh, man. I watched the gameplay trailer for it.
Uh-huh.
Woo. Oh, man. I'm ready. Also, pixel art side-scrolling action RPG. Oh, my God. My Fumato was announced for PS4 and PS5. No release date was given, but a Kickstarter campaign is now live. Republic Anniversary Edition will launch on PS4 on March 10th. Also, developer Camouflage has established a studio in Japan led by Matt Walker. Little Orpheus or Little Orifice has been delayed on PS4 and PS5 due to world events. Wonder what's going on in the world.
COVID.
Bethesda Softworks has released a Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude, a free visual novel on PS4.
God, no people have already read this.
Nobody's interested in this game, right? I don't know. Maybe. Also, sandbox puzzle adventure game Time on Frog Island launches this summer on PS4 and PS5. The game was previously known as Trading Time: A Croaktail, which is an infinitely better name and also hilarious. Croaktail, because it's a frog. Oh, that's great. Why'd they change that name? That was great.
It's so bad. What is the conversation like? A Croaktail's ridiculous. How about Time on Frog Island? As if that's not.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh, God. Okay. Also, JRPG The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. Wow. Will launch on PS4 on September 27th in North America and on September 30th in the Europe. Open world murder mystery game Paradise Killer will release on PS4 and PS5 on March 16th. And finally, Gematsu reported that run and gun cooperative action game Spider Swords will release on PS4 and PS5 sometime this spring.
Sounds terrifying.
And that's all for the new games. I'm sorry, the new games. Christ. That's all for the news this week. And I'm going to kick it over now to Travis for this week's new games.
On the 28th, we have Breath Edge. On March 1st, we have Elix II, Far, Changing Tides, Shadow Warrior 3. On March 3rd, we have Babylon's Fall, great reviews. On March the 4th, we have Gran Turismo 7, Disc Cannon Airlines, and Music Racer Ultimate. Those last two sound terrible.
They do. Those last three sound terrible.
Okay.
So obviously your beloved Gran Turismo 7, very big release this week. The biggest, in fact. And
yeah, there's people that have been they do like 8-hour streams on YouTube. I'm like, these guys.
God. It's not like you're playing like, I don't know, man. That's a lot, driving a car for 8 hours.
They're just like, let's see how far we can get with like the license tests and stuff, which I get it. I mean, that's probably what I'll do first anyway, is all the license stuff. But I mean, like that takes time. Like some of those are a fucking grind.
Yeah. You big bunch of racing nerds. And then I almost bought Elix II, as you said there. I almost did it. Almost. But
what is
that it's an open world RPG. It's kind of like Skyrim, but with guns a little bit. So I thought about it, but I thought better of it. I'm gonna get it when it's on sale, or more likely when it's on Spartacus at some point. Then of course it's actually a decent week. We got Shadow Warrior 3 in there too, and then we got the highly critically acclaimed, highly regarded Babylon's Fall as well. Anyway, that's all for the new games this week. Let's start to wrap the show up now, Travis, by discussing what we've been playing and anything that we're looking forward to. What do you got?
All I did really was play some FIFA. I needed to sign some people. Like basically I put people out on loan and let some contracts expire. When I got to season 2, I needed a couple of backups, and I wanted to loan out a few people to see if I could get it to glitch up. Anyway, the people that I signed, I was like, well, I'll just sell them when the other guys come back from loan, and then you have to wait 6 months to sell them, which I didn't know. So now I just have these dudes on my team that are like, it just pisses me off that they're on my team and I need to get rid of them. So they're just there. It's really annoying. But anyway, I finally found a fullback and a center back. So basically, the only thing I haven't found any midfielders that I really like, which is rare because usually that's all I find. And
Yeah.
I probably need another wing and another striker and another center back. So I'm like 3 or 4 pieces away. My goalie that the game gave me at the beginning of the year, at the beginning when I started it, it just gave me a goalie. Um, he's like a 60, actually he's a 70 right now, and he's 18. But
God.
I found a 15-year-old goalkeeper last year who is a 66, and he's just been in my youth squad waiting until he turns 16, and he just turned 16 and he's a 69. So I think I'm going to start him, and he's 5'11", so we'll see how that goes. So I'm not really sure if that matters, because if being short is a problem, then like I'll just sell him, because the other guy's like
Right.
6'4", but we'll see how it goes. The goalie that I had that's a 70, he just like wasn't good. Like I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. There would just be games where he would just like miss balls, and it's like you could tell that it wasn't the difficulty. He just isn't good. Like he just he just would do dumb shit.
Yeah.
It used to piss me off. So like anyway, I don't know what to do with it. I've never had a goalie that was a 70 that was as bad as him. It's very weird. But yeah, that's it. Obviously, I'll probably be playing a lot of Gran Turismo, so I'm interested to get into that. And I did learn that like on the daily races, your car has to be under a certain rating. Like you can cap out at a certain rating. So you're
Okay.
basically can bring any car you want, as long tune it however you want, as long as you're under that rating. So and it'll have other stipulations too, like the car can't have nitrous, it has to have a certain type of tire, etc. So that's pretty cool. I'm
Hmm.
excited about that because it gives me it's like the old school games where you could tune them however you wanted to do, but now it's online, and like I can kind of learn how to build a car the way I want. Like
Yeah.
do I buy it, or do I use the car that's already good at handling and just use all my stuff on power, or vice versa? Do I like a car that's more balanced? You know, do I want mid-engine, rear engine, whatever, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff will be, it's gonna take me a long time to figure out most of that stuff anyway. What I like to upgrade, what I don't, that type of stuff. It's just, you have to match your driving style, right? So, like for me, it needs to have really good brakes because I tend to brake late. So, that's one thing I know out of the gate. So, just stuff like that. It'll be fun and interesting to see how other people set up their cars for the same race. I think this will be kind of, before, because everything was fixed, it was really just about who's the really good driver. But now you have to be able to do both parts. And I think that'll definitely swing things in my favor, I think.
Yeah. Tonight's the big night for you. Get to play your GT7, and I guess you'll be playing it most of the weekend, right up until the time that you take me on a date to go see the Batman on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that.
Man, I'm
On
gonna
my
turn.
end,
Oh, I can tell you the first track I'm going to is Daytona. Can't wait. I'm so excited that Daytona, the 24 hour of Daytona layout is on GT. I'm so excited. I love it.
oh
Go
boy,
America. Just like I was so stoked when they added Laguna Seca. That's like all I did for a week. I was like, I'm in fucking
that's a lot of
America.
turning left.
It is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, most of the right
Yeah.
turns in that course are pretty short anyway. Even though it's a road course, it's pretty funny.
uh, of course, naturally. Well, on my end, I haven't played a whole lot this week. I haven't been on for a few days now because I've been burning the candle at both ends. I've been working and then coming home and going to help my wife go through some boxes and shit at her grandmother's, and so I haven't felt like doing anything when I've come home. So I've only played Rainbow Six Extraction this week. Played some of that over the weekend. I actually need to go back to that a little bit this weekend and finish up some challenges in the current event that they're doing so that I can unlock the auto turret piece of equipment. I really like that game. I think it's underrated. I think if you're wanting a co-op game or even just a shooter, it's not competitive. I think it's for you. again, definitely play it with friends if you can. I was playing by myself, and then I play with randoms a little bit. I have one good game with randoms and one like not good game with randoms. That's about how it goes, like a 50% clip. I do still have one more 14-day buddy pass for you if you ever want to.
Cool.
If you ever want to use it, you can use that one too. So I did that, and then did play some more Horizon Forbidden West. I'm like 22 or 23 hours in, and the pace that I'm playing the game at is that 1 hour equals 1% on the completion percentage of the game. So very, it's a very snail's pace for me. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just playing the game. I'm doing the quest. The biggest thing is that I'm taking photos.
They're good. They're good pictures, dude. Like they really are. Like
yeah,
they're legit. I don't know if it's like the game or if you're just good at it.
The game fucking looks incredible. I can tell you that it does a lot of the heavy lifting, and then I just have to really find like good spots and good angles and just fuck with the poses and everything.
There's one you put up that it's like a close up, and I don't remember what the character is doing, but it's really really good. And 2 bots told you to DM them.
Of course, I mean within 30 seconds, every time I post something, love it. DM me. Fuck off. DM yourself.
I got one of those from a Wood post the other day. He was like, DM me if you want to share it on my page. I'm like, why don't you fucking build something, you narc?
Right. I get so tired of that shit. I block all those. They just keep coming, so it's just pointless. But yeah, I love the game. I'm not very good at the combat. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm trying. I'm trying to use all the tools available to me, the traps and the various weapons and whatnot. But man, the fucking enemies are so aggressive. Like much more aggressive than the first game, and like you're never, unless you're fighting a big bastard, you're never fighting just one on one. So that's the other thing. But I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's just me, maybe, but we'll see. But yeah, I love it. It's a fantastic game, and it's one of the best made open worlds that I've seen in a video game. Almost everything looks good. There's a lot of variation in the environment. The fucking characters look fantastic. Even the most like insignificant NPC is beautiful. Like in terms of how they've like captured that person and then put it in the game. Like it's incredible. It's very well done, and I think it's at a very high level. And I think as I sit here today, I think it's better than an 88 or whatever it is on Metacritic. That's just my opinion. But anyway, that's it. So in the week ahead, hopefully looking forward to playing more games, actually, more Horizon Forbidden West. I do want to play some Extraction. Like I said, I got to get some of those challenges done. And then I want to play Insurgency a little bit this week. It's been a little bit since I played it. And then I think that's it. I think that's it for now. I don't think there's anything coming out this week either. Next week will be Grand Theft Auto. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most in the immediate future is our Batman film escapade. Been hearing very good things about it, so super excited for that.
One of my buddies tweeted out, "It's the best live action Batman ever," and I asked him, "What about the Adam West Batman?" You can't act like that isn't that's fucking cinema like gold.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're that's I don't know. I gotta disagree.
What, you don't like?
I guess it's just from a different time. So
you don't like it?
The Adam West one?
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know. That's way too campy for me.
Okay, well, that's the whole point of it. I mean, just
I know, but you know, I don't like to laugh. I don't like to have fun.
And then all of your gene pool did acid for 30 years, and then you were born. So no wonder you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm very sterile. Very sterile. So anyway, that's it for me and for the show. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, perhaps, and we'll just get delivered to you every Monday right there on your feed. Also, if you would rate us or review us, leave us some stars, some thumbs, some hearts, all that shit, that would be wonderful. And it would also be wonderful if you would share us with a friend or a loved one who you think may enjoy a podcast where they can get all of the week's PlayStation news in less than 90 minutes. And then also, finally, don't forget to follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And we would love to hear from you and discuss PlayStation, of course, or any of the other bullshit that we've discussed here today. And yeah, we'll get out of here now. You guys take care. Have a great week, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye-bye.